Hi, and welcome to a Photoshop tutorial on how to do a simple photo manipulation. Today I'm going to show you how to smooth the skin on your photos. It gives it that nice kind of magazine quality look, like airbrushing, without looking too fake though, and so you can apply this trick to any of your photos from now on, anyone who has Photoshop. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to use this photo over here that I found on the internet. It looks kind of like a senior photo or a school picture, so the first step is to duplicate it. I'm going to go down here and drag it to this symbol right there. You can also right click and duplicate, or just make a new layer and copy the image over, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you are selected on the copied layer, and we're going to change the light to vivid in this drop down menu here. And the reason we're doing this, it's going to be helpful in a step later on. You can see the outline of her face is pretty defined with the vivid light, so that's what we want. The next step, we're going to go Image, Adjustments, I believe, and yes, Invert. Usually I just do Control-I. I like keyboard shortcuts, or Command-I if you're on an Apple, but this gray blob is what we want, so you're doing good so far. And the next step is we're going to do a filter, blur, Gaussian blur, my favorite blur. I use it for almost for everything. It's very useful. So this is pretty much what we want right here, what you see. Just a very pretty defined outline of her face, but nothing else is in too much detail. If you were to bring it up super high, it looks really embossed or like she's trapped in plastic bubble or something. So we're just going to keep it low until we get a nice outline of the face, which is why putting the light to vivid helped. I'm going to keep it at that and click OK. The next step after that is to go Filter, Other, High Pass. And this is where we get the blurred effect of the smooth skin. So you're going to want to put it as high as you want to where you think that the skin would look good. You don't want to get rid of too much detail like that. It starts to get pretty distorted. Just enough so that the light isn't too harsh around the parts of her face where she's more well lit. I'm going to keep it around there. I think that looks pretty good. Bring it down maybe just a bit. It's at 8.9. You can just eyeball it, honestly. You don't have to have an exact number every time. So I like that. I'm going to click OK. And the next step is we're going to add a layer mask to this. So I'm going to click this button over here. And again, there are other ways to do it, but that button's just right there. And we're going to fill our stage with black to cover it up. So I'm going to switch it to black and get my paint bucket. And there, we've hidden the layer mask. And the next is the actual smoothing of the skin process. So you're going to want to click your brush tool over here and get a nice brush size. That's too big. I'm going to keep it around 45. Looks pretty good. I'm going to keep it around 45. It's important not to have the opacity and the flow too high. The reason I like this trick is it doesn't look too fake when it's done. If you were to have the pressure, the stroke of the brush super high and super opaque, she would just look like a porcelain doll, just completely smooth skin. The lower you bring it down, the more you keep detail, like pores still and shadows and shading on her face. So I'm going to keep it around here. Good brush size, and you'll see what's happening with our layer mask. We're clicked on our layer mask. Oh yeah, and we have to click the color to white for our brush. And you'll see if I just start clicking and coloring, you can see what's happening. The skin is starting to smooth, and if you go over here, the mask is filling with bits of white down there. That is us slowly uncovering the blurred layer beneath, which is what we want. So take your time. I'm gonna go slow here and just really go over every part of her face to make it look even. I'm going to zoom in actually. You can see it's getting rid of fuzzies around her face where her hair is, so that's also kind of a good thing, smoothing out the hair around her face there. And just keep going until you're satisfied with it. Again, if you think it's not looking how you want, you can either change the opacity or flow. of your brush, change your brush size. Just make sure, to take your time and really go over every place. I'm going to go ahead and do some of her neck also, just, keep it consistent. There we go. And this is just to go over her skin, if I was to, go over her eye, you see what happens there. You're uncovering those highlighted features and just blurring, too much, so I'm going to undo that. Just, keep going over the skin, however you want it to look. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to zoom out and show you what we just did. So that's what it was before. That's what we have now. That Airbrush Magazine Studio look. So I'm actually going to do a little bit of her arms as well. Just to keep everything looking the same, I guess. And so there you have it. In just about 4 or 5 simple steps, we smoothed her skin. If you're not happy with the outcome, you can change the opacity, lower, higher, to make it either look more real or more airbrush, depending on the look you want. I'm just going to bring it up back higher to show you what it was. And there you go. I'm going to combine these layers, merge them together, and you can go even further with this to make it look good. You can, I have a whole bunch of actions in my Photoshop set. You can just apply an action, to keep touching it up however you want it to look. Click OK, and there it looks, looks like it came out of like a studio or something. So there you have it. A simple, easy way to smooth skin in photos in Photoshop. Thank you for watching.